Okay, we're live.
All right, this is October 23rd, Friday, 6:05 p.m. for our public hearing for our budget. Madam Clerk.
You want me to call roll?
Yep.
Okay, Councilmember Jimmy Clanton.
Here.
Councilmember Rob Turner. Councilmember Jasmine Cobble. Councilmember George Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Tammy Grimes. Mayor Larry.
Here.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. I'll take a move that we open the public hearing for October 23rd, 2020 for our budget hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved in second. One.
Mr. Mayor, question.
Uh,
I had a question.
Yes.
Is the quorum necessary for this public hearing? Or is Mr. Attorney?
Oh, I'm sorry, is that a question for the mayor or a question for me?
Well, I think you, the parliamentarian, is the quorum necessary for a public hearing?
A quorum is necessary for all meetings of mayor and city council.
Then looks like we don't have one. Unless I miscount.
Well, that's derelict on the other city council members' part.
I understand.
I'm still going to open this meeting. So then we'll deal with it from there. Because we advertised for it, we printed for it, it's in, everybody received notice for it. I'm not going to short the citizens with regards to this. So Mayor, aye. District 1.
Aye.
District 4.
Nay.
Public hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, do you have any?
No, sir. And Attorney Denmark, in my past and in the finance manager's past, we've had public hearings without having council there at 2 different cities. Are you sure that you have to have a quorum to have a public hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. We require a quorum in order to have a public hearing, yes.
Mr. Joyner.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, in lieu of the fact that that we do not have a quorum at this time, but also in light of the fact that we did not receive any public comments to be read into the record, we do have some items that we can discuss and in preparation and we can. There's some items that we can discuss and then share that with the council and then just try to have a meaningful dialogue with the council for their input as we move forward with the budget.
Okay. What's your pleasure, Mr. Joyner?
I believe we, looking all over my screen, we have Mr. Travis Sims, our accounting manager, and Mr. G.F. Scruggs, our accountant, who are here. They were the spearheads of the development of the budget, along with the department heads. And since this is a Friday evening at 6 o'clock and they've sacrificed their time to be here, let's go ahead and let's discuss some options so that we can make sure that when we do have, what we can do is put some options together for the council in order for them to department heads about for the fiscal year 21 budget. I just ask that, if that's amenable to the mayor and the council members who are here.
Yep, it's good.
Okay. I guess there's no objections to that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. And Councilman Turner?
Oh, yeah, it's just informal discussion. Yeah, I mean, we need more of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was asking for a retreat, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Well, you can't even show up for damn meetings. How you going to go to a retreat?
I'm at a meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about you now.
Well, I'm the only one on the line now.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy's on the line too.
That's what I'm saying in terms of who you're speaking of who's not here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
That's what I said, Turner.
Yeah, so I'm here.
okay. And Councilman Turner, just to remind you, we did not have a retreat last year. But what we can do is they'd like to discuss a proposal for us to have a series of at least one, possibly more workshops next week. Invite the council, give them at least 24 hours notice, and hopefully we can get everybody's participation as we move forward. Okay. So Travis, Gia, if you wouldn't mind, just what your proposal is.
Good afternoon, good evening, council and mayor and citizens of the City of Stonecrest. We have put together the proposed budget for FY21, and as a secondary measure to ensure transparency and inclusion with the council, we would like to propose having an additional work session so that we can go into more detail into a couple of different places in the budget where we had increase or we need a list of projects. One of those being the Parks Department. We had an increase in the requests that we have for this year. But as you all are aware, we just completed the master plan for Parks and Recreation, and they are working very hard to get together a priority list for that master plan. In addition to that, the comprehensive plan and transportation plan also support a lot of the options that, a lot of the items that the parks plan also includes. So when we started looking at that and looking at our splash budget, we thought it'd be a good idea to put together a 5-year capital plan so that the mayor, council, and citizens and staff will be able to look at prioritized projects on an annual basis, and so they can look at how the city is actually spending the slots dollars in addition to general fund dollars. So what we would like to do is break that up into a parks and public works work session or workshop, if you will. And then also, because we have facilities and the city hall in which in the next fiscal years, we will have large fiscal responsibility in those areas, also looking at expenditures for that and coming up with a plan for that. That will also give us some guidance into fiscally what the city will look like for the next 5 years. So that's what we would like to propose to council and the mayor, to take an opportunity to sit down, provide us with your feedback, what after you've had an opportunity to look not only at this year's budget, but also capital plan, I mean the comprehensive plan, transportation plan, and parks master plan, and let us know what your ideas and thoughts are so that we can put those together with staff recommendations and then also be able to present something to the public. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Gia. And if I could remind the mayor and council, we've been operating from our SPLOS budget that was recommended with the referendum back in November of 2017. It was passed in DeKalb County, and you know, for all intents and purposes, that budget is really obsolete. We really do need to make some changes to aligning the expenditures that we plan to make. And now that we have our transportation master plan in place, we can now more effectively set up our SPLOST spending in the Parks and Recreation area and in our transportation improvement area. That's more in line with what we put into our transportation master plan. So that is really one of the main drivers for pulling that together. And then, as G also mentioned, a capital improvement plan and stretch it out for 5-6 years, so that we can look at exactly how we plan to spend the funds on our capital investments in the city over the next 5 years, whether they be transportation related, Parks and Rec related, or also related to the new city hall and our other new assets that we've acquired for the city. We welcome any feedback or thoughts from Mayor, Council.
I think that's a great way of doing it, guys. You can do a deep dive in those areas and change some things that need to be up to date. I think that's a very good way of doing it.
I think it's a start because we are board of committees that could hash these things out and bring some ideas back to council so we can have ongoing discussions about it. So this is a start of what I think needs to happen, like I said, on an ongoing basis in terms of our having dialogue on these issues. And the same thing with the city manager. And I have to keep mentioning it. We don't have a city manager to carry out those duties, but we should be getting those reports on a regular basis. And we wouldn't get it all at one time and try to digest this at one time of the year, where we should be dealing with it on the monthly basis that the charter calls for. So to get this started, I think is a move of many that needs to happen in terms of keeping us up to date as to what is going on. And I think you have a whole lot less question and a lot less misunderstanding because we don't have the information or don't have it in a timely fashion. So yeah, I'm good. Let's get it started.
Yeah, I agree that we definitely should have ongoing conversations, and I think every opportunity that council has to meet and to move this material forward, we should do that. However, it presents itself until things are different. So right now, we have to take advantage of every single opportunity, and what you guys outlined, Mr. Joyner, I do agree with 100%. And I think we are definitely moving in the right directions to get things done. Our ownness is to the citizens of the city. That's who we owe, our diligence and our time to. We are elected basically to represent them, as opposed to ourselves. And so, as long as we're doing the right thing for our citizens, we definitely need to make a big deal out of it and try everything we can to make things happen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, I really do appreciate your feedback. And as we get our heads around and our plans around doing this, is there a specific day? I would love to do this sometime next week if possible. That work.
Open any day, anytime.
Thank you, Councilman.
My schedule is fairly flexible, so just give us as much notice as you can and propose some dates.
Yeah, and maybe Mr. Mayor, would you like to provide some input around a date and time? Have any restrictions next week?
I don't, sir. I'm very familiar with this outstanding work that Ms. Scruggs and Mr. Sims has put together with regards to the individual departments and budget book and assisting in this whole budget process and the great time and care they have taken in helping me in guiding this and putting this together. So I'm open for any time that, folks want to meet. I am clear that we don't have a full council commitment to even be interested in doing the job that they got elected for. So I'll take whoever wants to be there to make this happen, to get clarity and to make sure that we can, move some things forward. And as far as not having a full complement of volunteer committees and some other things, some council people did such a piss poor job of running their committee and being on it. There was no use in reconstituting some of those committees to continue to waste staff time. So with that, council folks ought to just do their jobs that they get paid for and to be attentive to the needs of the citizens. I'm not dependent upon a volunteer group to be able to, of any order, to be able to make sure that we have the things done that we need to be doing. That's council's job. So no, I'm not going to reconstitute time wasting committees when they don't do anything but bitch and moan and complain. So to your point, Mr. Joyner, I'm open anytime next week.
Okay, I appreciate that, and not to beleaguer the point any longer than we need to, but what we'll do is we'll get together, Mr. Sims, Ms. Scruggs, and Ms. Reed, Megan. Let's try to get together sometime Monday. We'll put together a plan and have something solid to present to the council. At the meeting, we'll announce it at the meeting on Monday evening, and then we'll plan to have it, either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. I promise you, it won't be next Friday. Okay.
Okay. I was thinking maybe Wednesday, Thursday. That way we could give notice on Tuesday, and that way we'd have Wednesday, Thursday.
Right, to pull some things together, and that way we'll be able to propose some things, and then have those meetings at that time. So, once again. I'd be remiss if I did not really say thank you to Travis and Gia for your hard work and dedication on this. The city's short tenure, but this is the very first year that the budget was submitted and ready to go according to our charter. We're on track to have our approval and everything done according to charter as well. This meeting was advertised according to our charter. And so I really applaud you guys for the hard work that you put in and getting us to this point. It was not easy. Okay. So with that said, Mr. Mayor, unless there's some other comments.
Let me just go back and again, I try to avoid being argumentative about these issues, but the issue with the committees, and I think it gives us a great chance to interact with council staff and the public. And if we find that some of them are not functioning as they should, it is within the mayor's power to reassign or to create an alternate means of making that happen. But I would not just condemn the committees because we don't necessarily agree with their functioning like thereof. There's another way of getting it done. And I think it's a big void by not having those committees in place.
Yeah, and it really to that point, Mr. Councilman Turner, the team that we have in place in City Hall is really dedicated to being as open and transparent and as cooperative with the council as possible. And there's always room for improvement. And let's take that as our impetus for moving forward to be a little bit more inclusive and to work to provide that back and forth dialogue that we so really need. Okay.
And I just wanted to say too, to the mayor and council, is to reiterate the discussion that we want to have next week is a very high level discussion geared toward capital projects, because we want to make sure that we don't, we want the council and staff to be step in step with the capital projects that we start work on next year and over the next 5 years. So just kind of think about if there's anything, you know, that you all have that you would like to see kind of done and put on that priority list. And that's really the discussion that we want to have and focus on.
Yeah, and thanks a lot, Travis. And you really touched on something really important. Up until this year, we did not have a transportation master plan. We did not have a parks master plan. We did not have we did not have the new City Hall building. We did not have the Sears building. And so this is our opportunity now. So going into to fiscal year 21, we now have all of those things in place. And so it's really incumbent on us to align ourselves fiscally to address those as well. The city, as is recognized in the budget and is recognized by the awards the city has won, is very fiscally knowledgeable, and has been on top of that really since day one. So we haven't had a moment where the city has lapsed in that particular area. So this is really just an effort just for us to stay ahead of the curve and plan ourselves for our capital planning going forward. So thanks a lot, Travis. That's really important. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that really concludes everything that we had for today's meeting.
Okay, well, with that said, I'll conclude with this. I want to make sure the general public knows that we did everything proper with regards to notice, with regards to being on our site, with regards to the transmission letter that went to every council person, letting them know from the mayor's office that this public hearing would be today. It is derelict on their duty for not being here. I don't understand why you can't make a 6 p.m. meeting in the evening time. The people that have jobs should be off their jobs by then. And if you're retired, how much more could you be doing at 6 o'clock? So with that, as Councilman Turner said, there are some things that I can do as mayor when I've determined that if a committee is not functioning right or not. And the thing that I do is investigate and then not reconstitute that committee because it's a waste of time. So with that, I'll leave that by saying next year you have your opportunity to have a say with regards to who's going to be elected or not, and let your voices be heard at the polls. Because if a council person can't show for these vital meetings, or they're not paying enough attention and know that it's properly advertised and properly handled by the mayor's office and the deputy city manager and staff, then they don't need to be in office. So with that, Mr. Bell, you can end the meeting.